Everybody can see Dr. Samantha Rathnayaka's profile. Over 20 years of management and learning solutions experience, especially in the sectors of food and agriculture, attached to United Nations. Also, actually, when I met him so many years back at SLIM. Then I met him at Sri Lanka Foundation, 2012 and 2015. And at the Chartered Institute of Personal Management of Sri Lanka, he has contributed as a co-chairman of Great Human Resource Practices 2017, chairman of Great Human Practices 2018. Dr. Rathnayake has served as a co-chairman of the International Symposium of Innovative Banking organized by the Bank of Ceylon, Sri Lanka. It continues, the profile you can see, and he has graduated from the University of Kelaniya with a special degree in HRM and MBA from PIM and PhD from Infrastructure University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He holds Certified Professional Marketeer Asia, Practicing Marketeer Sri Lanka status, and a Certified Human Resource Development Auditor from TVRLS, India. Dr. Rathnayake is a regular speaker, panelist, moderator, reviewer, and a human resource development trainer in a number of international conferences and institutions. Over to you, Dr. Rathnayake. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Perra. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, very good.
All right. Okay. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think initially I missed at the inception due to a technical glitch, but it's all about agility and resilience. So I didn't miss anything from Dr. Ravi. So hats off, Dr. Ravi, you have done a splendid job, very comprehensive, and you have set the tone for this the discussion. Getting into this discussion, first of all, let me congratulate to the president and the immediate past president, Mr. I.G. Pera. Nice to see you. And particularly the credit should go to Mr. Chamir Harsalal for organizing this, and of course other officials who have done their wonderful service. And particularly I remember with regard to ISMM, about 2 years back, I was invited to address a management topic in a physical forum. Anyway, today we are going through this virtual setup. Well, my role is, while Dr. Ravi is covering this value chain in a larger, broader strategic point of view, so my task is to bring about, let's say, within the interest of time, I will manage within 15 minutes to bring some research aspects and try to connect with the research, because in the audience, there are substantial number of students who are studying number of courses at ISMM. So there are all the professional colleagues there. For them, they are looking for some research insights. And so let's connect these two. And of course, we can take a couple of questions later. And to make this more precise and within the time bound, what I have done, I have noted down into 5 areas and no PowerPoint presentation. And of course, we can take up a few additional things during question and answer time. So with that, let me get into my first area. So if you look at, friends, I'm talking in a general format. Research. The moment we look at the word, if you are going to dissect the meaning, the anatomy, so it's like research. So we are going to search again. So whether it's existential knowledge, existing knowledge, or whether the replication of one practice from one context to another context, looking at the applicability, looking at the relevance. So these are all, it's like a systematic critical inquiry. So that's the research mindset. Now, when it comes to research, from an education point of view, we can look at 2 angles. One is basic research. The other one is applied research. When it comes to basic research, it's broadly looking at knowledge creation, knowledge enhancement, and adding something to the existing knowledge and enhancing that. When it comes to the applied research, particularly looking at problem solving mindset, looking for solving of problems and coming out with the needy problems, solutions kind of a setup. But one important thing is, in general, research does not mean that just a collection of information. It is not just getting couple of information, referring to couple of journals or books and so on, and telling that I have done research. No, that is not the case. So the first and foremost, it's all about a systematic, critical inquiry of the interest area in a given subject. So that is the first starting point. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, the let's look at my second area. Now, when it comes to this ISMM profile, all the professionals, so they are in multiple supply chain, value chain, and inter alia subjects. So when you are doing those subjects in multiple jobs, I would call that as a practice. So that means you are doing things. You are doing and you are practicing and you are further engaging at different levels of your career, like after school and so on, at different levels. So when you are doing that, so you are still showing some interest to join to a program or programs of interest in a particularly the professional context like ISMM, to understand what are the other best practices, theories, and lenses, concepts, and so on. I would call that as seeing. So there is a connection here. So doing and seeing. So the theory and practice. So when it comes to that, we call there's a knowledge translation. So that you are getting some knowledge, you are getting some lenses, and you see what are the best practices, what we can do, what we can practice, what we can apply. So in that sense, from a study program point of view, whether you are diploma or any other, of course you have a wonderful opportunity now to showcase your theoretical lenses, your learn best practices, even couple of theoretical lenses you gained today also through Dr. Bamul Singh's session. So you have an opportunity now to showcase this as a research project, this as a well systematic kind of an inquiry, kind of analyze the outcome of your study. So in that light, it is good time for us to learn fundamentals, knowing what is research, how to look at a problem, and how to go through different methodologies and adopting methods, doing some literature, some surveys on that, and of course building some analytical tools and applying and coming to conclusion, bringing some implications, either basic research or problem specific research. So in that sense, friends, particularly those who are in courses, you have a now wonderful opportunity to look at research in that angle. So with that, may I move to my third area. Now, if you look at the research landscape in a simple language, of course, we all love to learn what is happening in this society, what is this world is all about, what is this reality is all about. So in that light, there are some technical jargons. You should not be worrying too much about that. One is called ontology. Ontology means you are looking at what is the social reality. So here we are referring to the domain of your subject expertise. In that light, we are going to understand in that in a more quantitative, objective manner. In this specifically, we are looking at more numerical form, so very objective. So targeting to a specific factual base, or it's through your subjective interpretation. The understanding of the world in a more exploratory or more objective line. So in that light, how you are going to do that? What is your way? What is your approach? So that you would learn in your research methodology classes and at sessions and modules. Also, if you have not done that, you will get to know these terms. So your epistemology, I just use those two terms only. Here, your approach. Am I going to look at in a more quantitative, we call deductive approach, or we are going to look at more qualitative, a kind of inductive approach. So if I put it to a simple form, so deductive means you are going to look at based on some hypothesis, certain judgments, certain statistical hypothesis, you are going to look at whether this is happening there in that way. Also, probably the inductive qualitative means you're going to explore. You want to see whether this truth is grounded there. What is going on in every day? Like what's happening there? What are the best practices? We want to explore. We want to go and describe. So either deductive or inductive or combined method. End of the day, what we are going to look at uh, according to the course requirements to add value or solve problems. So that is the research insight. With that, ladies and gentlemen, may I move to my fourth area. Now this is quite interesting. Probably during question time we can ask few more questions on this, and we can relate to our the other presentation also, because my good friend Dr. Ravi also is a fantastic researcher. So then we can connect to that. Dear friends, it's very important to get into a problem now, like what sort of problem you are going to look at. So you saw that national level, macro level problems. You saw that your value chain department level problems. So from a management point of view, we can see at a country larger, the more sectoral kind of a macro level problem, or you want to get it to a in an organizational hierarchy, a more strategic level one, or a particular identified business cluster point of view, or you want to go to a area like one operational area, one of the chunks or areas or clusters in the value chain. So that in that light, this is good time for you to look at the problem from a performance point of view. See what is expected, see what's happening, and if you have, collect some data and see based on some hard data or some available facts and observations, and see what is this gap during last 2 3 years, what's happening, what is going on. And this is good time for you friends to read a little bit ranked journals or some other good sources, current internet sources, and then you can see what others have spoken about that, what others have thought about that. So that is where you are going to look at few other research, few other studies. So in technical you would learn those areas called performance gap, empirical gap, theoretical gap. So that is very vital. But all in all, here this is a good time in a program of this, particularly at an organization like ISM is a professional body. In that, you need to look at not just the area of compiling of data. So look at the area which is having an interest within you. What is close to my heart? So what inspires me, triggers me to go and explore. So that is the interest. And then, of course, target, specify to an area, particular area. So then you have the chosen area. Is it significant to my organization? Can I add value through this, or can I solve this problem? What I can do in terms of collating all the aspects in an analytical way, and thereby what I can do to add value to the next level. So your interest, your area, and the clarity. That means less complicated. So with that, I'm coming to my the within my uh, the initial remarks, the last area. Of course, I think why I'm saying again and again. So Dr. Ravi has very comprehensively map the whole thing. So my I would like to add few things for us to further explore. Of course, he has started with value chain. So Porter's value chain. So one of the opening thought area is that though it was introduced in 1995 in his book, but it's mainly all the 1980s main companies practices in USA. So that's the background for his. So with that, it has been now evolving and it has come to a this current level. So though he didn't go to all the details, he has very vividly established that how the supply chains, value chains are connected, and the value chains at the sectoral level. So in that light, it's quite important for us to understand whether we are HR professionals, management professionals, business consultants, or any other professionals, we should have a thorough, say, backing with us about value chain. So my way of understanding is that by looking at various sources in six kind of a chains. That's a value chain and the assertion. So I look at the supply chain, operations, if I read it out, research and development, product management, marketing and sales, customer service. So that means supply chain. That is where you look at your vendor management strategies, all aspects. Operations is where your ERP, MRP, CRM, all these acronyms, jargons, practices coming up. So when it comes to research and development, that is where product innovation, rapid the prototyping, all these product development stages all coming up in terms of the research. Now with that, we are going to look at managing of the products. So there we look at the vendor strategies, partnerships building, and so on. So marketing and sales is obvious. There is a clear-cut opening for marketing, brands, product offering, marketing of knowledge, so that aspect. And finally, how you are going to maintain your relationship from a customer point of view. So that is one way of understanding for me. If we don't pay attention to the value chains, then how we are going to add that the value creation which we are going to offer. So in the same sentiments, now, so thanks to Dr. Ravi for his 7 areas ideas. So in those, the modern, like in the context, I would say, so my key triggering points for the value, say, chains studies, research aspects are, of course, large globalization, value chain for business competitiveness. So the profitability through cost and growth, so the highly discussed at multiple fora. So the capability focus, how to manage that, the change and disruption, then of course technology integration, and attracting and retaining the intellectual capital challenge. So with that, in my final thoughts, now Ravi used word, wonder whether you got that, called rich picture. So that is in other contexts, I am very much loving the use called all mapping. So the value chain is a wonderful opening for us to map. So if you look at value chain on left, where the visible, invisible, so we can look at horizontally the entire phases into a mapping from this point to this point. So then from a studies point of view, so you can look at how the initial genesis to customer build to product to then get it to the commodity level to the final evaluation level. So then that mapping is a vital area for you to ponder in. And so with that, friends, so we are talking about agility and resilience in this current context. Like we can apply this in my last minute, we can apply this to marketing, HR, and so on. So multiple fronts, and you have a lot of opening for engaging in research and doing a good research inquiry and do a value addition. I'm sure along with the new the initiatives of ISMM, the research areas can be improved and add value to the next level. So in that light, my last thought is the Dr. Ravi mentioned about agility and resilience. So if we look at the key 2 indicators from agility point of view, how is the strategy, how is the structure of the organization? So those are some of the indicators of the agility with regard to the organizations. At the same wavelength, resilience point of view, how the leadership and culture works, and the networks and relationship work. So those are indicators of getting into the research field. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude. So what I want to tell that with this value chains, the resilience and the way forward is the thinking through value chain. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samantha. So both presentations are very informative and a lot of areas, a lot of, I think, eye openings. If I, at the same time, I must thank you. You summarized Dr. Ravi's presentation as well. You may make it my job easy, actually. Thank you so much.